And now we'll see essay 505, that is external confirmation. As usually, we'll move on with objectives of the auditor. The objectives of the auditor: using the confirmation, external confirmation procedures to design and perform such procedures to obtain relevant and reliable audit evidence. As we know, external confirmation is a procedure to obtain the audit evidence, and they are talking mostly with only with regards to the external confirmation here. External confirmation is an audit evidence obtained as a direct written response to the auditor from a third party. So that's why the reliability would be more. And there were two types of the confirmation request. That's positive confirmation, negative confirmation report request. A positive confirmation request is a request which urges the third party to respond if he agrees to that or disagrees to the information in the request. There were trade payables or debtors. So they could agree or disagree. They have to give a response to that. And there was a chance that they may blindly, without checking, could just say or agree with that. So in order to reduce that risk, the auditor may what he could send a blank confirmation request to just enter the amount. They have to put some effort and check the balance with regards to that, and then put the amount and then communicate with to the auditor. But there's also another risk, the risk of lower response rate. There could be a non-response for that because it involves some extra effort to do that. So that is with regards to the positive confirmation report. And negative confirmation request is such thing that the third party only communicates to the auditor when he disagrees, only when he disagrees with the information that was provided in the external confirmation request. And non-response is not responding to the external confirmation request. That's a non-response. And exception is they have communicated, but there's a difference between the amount that was mentioned in the external confirmation request and the amount that was provided by the third party. That's all with regards to the terminology to be discussed here. And we'll dive into, let's say, 505 here. First, yes, with regards to external confirmation procedures, how the procedure has to go through a step-by-step process. First, you have to determine the information that what you wanted to request or you wanted to get confirmed, and selecting the parties and designing the confirmation request and sending the request to the follow-up requests, etc. And you see, this is mostly discussed in the keyword kit series also while you're communicating. I don't remember the number, it might be one or two. While in that keyword kit, we have discussed that the auditor, while communicating to the management, TCWG, or communicating to third parties or external legal counsel, anybody while auditor is communicating, or any communication that was going in an audit, how it has to be done. The same thing, if you put that beside and read this, you could easily go and write that. First, the information, and then the to address the confirming party, and how you have to design that. And you're following up the things. And the management refusal to allow the auditor to send a confirmation request. Okay. Now you see, even for the external legal counsel, what the management had done first, we had communicated to the external legal counsel that these are our auditors, so and so are our auditors, please provide or cooperate with them for the information that they have asked for. Like that, they also have to communicate with the third parties that he so and so is our auditor, please, for the audit purpose, confirm the balances or provide information that they were asking for. Like that, they have to give to the management. Otherwise, some other third party cannot, will not in a usual basis provide information, that to that confidential information to a auditor like us. So that's why if the management is refusing the auditor to allow or send a confirmation request, what they have to do. This is also discussed in the keyword kit, or management holding or putting a restriction. I think it's three, I think three or five. That is, first you have to inquire the management about the reasonableness for that refusal, and you have to evaluate the implications on the audit procedures. You have to perform alternate audit procedures if you are not able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence through alternate audit procedures. Then what you have to do, you have to communicate to TCWG and then determine you to modify the audit report under SA 705. And as we also have seen, there were two types of requests, positive and negative, right? When to use negative confirmation request. Negative confirmation requests were used when you find the internal controls were so effective. Second thing, when there's a large number of transactions in the financial statement. Why these two has to be first? Because as an auditor, you went to the entity to do the financial statement audit. So in the financial statement, you have almost a small and homogeneous accounting balance and transactions with regards to the financial statements. And also you have to evaluate the internal controls. And the internal controls have found most effective the negative confirmation request. And what are the results you're expecting? You're expecting a very low exception rate. Exception rate is the difference between the what is that was given in the what external confirmation request and the confirmed by the third party. Though you expect a very low rate, and the auditor is not aware of any circumstances or condition that would cause the recipients of the negative confirmation to disregard with request. That is, he's thinking that there were no circumstances or condition that the third party will be disagreed to the external confirmation request. Only these 2 points you have to remember with some effort, and these two were simply like financial statements. In financial statement, there were a small and homogeneous account balance, and internal controls were effective. And what are the factors you have to consider while designing the confirmation request? And what all they have to the assertions that are being addressed, whether you are seeing the if you are seeing like a third party stock, you are going with the ownership with regards to the ownership of the inventory. While you're doing some external confirmations with regards to them, you have to you're seeing ownership there. And while checking the trade payables, you're seeing the accuracy of the account balance there. And with regards to the any kind of list of invoices or sales, you're seeing the completeness of the bills there. So you have to make sure what assertion you're doing and the risk of material misstatement with no fraud risks, and the layout and presentation of the confirmation request and some prior experience, and the method of communication and the management's authorization and ability of the confirming party. Okay, there were a lot of things that were here. How to remember it in one go? First thing, external confirmation is a communication based thing. What for communication, what you have to do? First, you have to know what all the things you wanted to do. What's your result? What you're expecting? Some assertions are being to addressed. What are your objective? Second thing, since it's a written format, it has to be in a layout and the method of communication, whether it's a physical letter or an electronic format. These two go hand in hand. Okay, layout and presentation and method of communication. And what all the parties involved? The management, other than auditor, the management and the third party. So you have to see the management encouragement for authorization and encouraging the third party to reply back, and the what that's the responsibility of the management with regards to external confirmation and third party's ability to confirm. So these are with regards to parties and the letter that was involved, that is here, and the assertions of the matter that was in the external confirmation with regards to that. And you have already written 5 points that were more than enough. You see, don't remember through mnemonics. In examination in a very stressed situation, it is highly impossible to remember something that's from out of the box, where that E stands for, where that P stands for, M stands for. You see, all this create very stressful situation in that in that stress situation that you're already in. So you have to understand the process, put your heart there, how the process is going through. This is audit is a behavioral science. You have to know how the parties behave. It's mostly deals with the people, how the people are behaving, and what how we have to respond to them, and what all the things that were that done. And I think by this, you have understood how you could write without using of mnemonics by understanding the process. What are the things that were involved? external confirmation was involved, and how has to be communicated, and what the layout, and what the matter has to be, and what all the parties other than the auditor, management, and the third party. That's it. 5 points. This were more than enough. And risk, if a confirming party uses a third party to respond to the confirmation request. Okay, you're doing some confirmations of some trade payables who have named some Raj, and some Raj is not responding, how his PA or his son or daughter, they were responding, they were not authorized to do so. Raj only has to respond to that. That's what the proper source may not be from the proper source, and the respond may not be authorized to respond. The source might be different, and there might be, authorization, no authorization with regards to that, and the integrity of the transmissions may have been compromised. That was his saying, agreed for everything, because they know that entity were friends and familiar and all. So there were that may be on lack of integrity that might be happening there. And categorize the results of the confirmation request. What are the results? How could we categorize that? A response by appropriate confirming party indicating agreement with the information provided in confirmation request, information without exception. That is result number one. Responding, first thing, they have responded and there was no deviations, there was no exceptions or no differences in amount. First one. Second thing, they had responded but deemed unreliable. And third thing, there's no response only. Fourth one, there's a response but they're indicating an exception. First thing, no response, reliable, and no exception. Second thing, there's a response but unreliable. Third thing, there's a response but having an exception. Fourth one, no response at all. These were 4 types of results that we could expect from our external confirmation. And we have completed as a 505 here.